My name is Rhys Taylor. I'm a sociologist at Goldsmiths College, University of London. Sensory methods are important for understanding the city, not least because so much of our knowledge about the city and our understanding of the city, how people move around, how cities should be designed, are primarily visual. But we know, that's only 1/5 at least. At the very least, one fifth of experience. And there's a whole range of experience that isn't necessarily accounted for. Yet cities bombard our senses, and a large part of kind of being in a city is responding to the various sensory stimuli around us. So we need methods that help us to kind of access people's experiences of the multi-sensory city, and we also need multi-sensory methods as kind of tools for telling stories about the range of different experiences that people have in cities that open up experiences that might not necessarily have been accessible to social science or to planners or to architects previously. It's really tough to say what was the most insightful insights that I got from the network, but I think one of the things I found really striking was just the variability of interest in the senses to the complete kind of like, this isn't relevant to me, I don't know how to handle this, I'm not interested, to actual kind of a real hunger and a kind of recognition of the fact that these may well be really important realms of experience to engage with. So I think one of the insights was the kind of ranges of kind of literacy or interest in it, particularly amongst urban professionals. One of the other things I found really striking, particularly in relationship to London and Cologne, was the kind of relative homogeneity of a kind of Northern European sensorium in particular types of streets, and the ways in which a street in London and a street in Cologne can in fact be compared to each other in ways that sort of our methodological nationalism might not always make obvious. I think the Spanish street was different for a number of different reasons. Firstly, because the urban professionals in Spain, in Barcelona, seemed a lot more interested into kind of the potentials of thinking with the senses. But also the actual layout of the street, the design of the street was very different. It was kind of truer to an old medieval city. The warmth of the street made a difference, and there was just a kind of different sort of culinary repertoire, different sonic repertoire to the street. It felt like somewhere different, which also might speak to the relative differences between southern and northern Europe as well. I think one of the great things about the project has been the kind of compulsion for us to speak to different audiences as part of the project, and that's always been an explicit part of the project, right? To speak to museum curators and to artists and to urban professionals. And that means that I'm not speaking to my normal audience of sociologists, anthropologists and urbanists, and that forces me to think more concisely, to talk to talk more clearly, for want of a clearer word, I think that's been a real advantage. It's been a push to communicate in clearer, more concise ways.